Welcome to another episode of Fearless. Just in case you're new here, welcome. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, make sure to turn on the notification bell so that you are up to date with everything Fearless. So far, so good. And today we'll be talking about a topic that is very, very important for every young person who's transitioning from high school to university. Very, very important. I think this is also something I struggled with after high school because I had no idea what career path I was going to take. And to help me talk about this topic, I have two beautiful ladies from Uniserv who will help me understand more about choosing the perfect career for you, especially after high school. Because let's be honest, having a career and choosing one that perfectly suits you is very, very important because that not only shapes your future, I mean, that also brings food to the table. And other than that, it also helps you pursue and fulfill your purpose on this earth. So if you have any questions by the end of this video, make sure to drop them at the comment section and I will make sure to reply to each one of them, of course, with the help of professionals here from Uniserv Education. So do not feel shy. They're here to make sure that you transition very, very well. So without further ado, help me introduce my guests, and I hope this episode will help you as you transition from high school to university, or even if you're transitioning from one career to the other, right? This will also be a very, very important episode for you, so enjoy.
Mimi naitwa Mr. Waso, lakini jina inajulikana kwa mtaani ni Ango. Nikiwa mdogo nilikuwa nataka kazi sana ya walimu, lakini sikupata hiyo kazi. Nikaingilia hii kazi ya potapota.
My name is Nelson. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. Right now, I'm an artist.
So my name is Jimmy Ndwati, and growing up I wanted to become a pilot. Currently I'm a content creator. And
okay, my name is Maina Ishahi. Once I was young, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, a CEO to be specific. I'm running my own business, the streets, which I believe I'm still following my dreams.
Nataka kuwa pilot, lakini kwa sasa haikuwezekana. Kwa sasa kenye nafanya ni kazi ya kanje ya kufagia.
My name is Rachel Tete. I'm a senior student counselor with Uniserv Education.
I'm Ruth Njeri, as well. I'm a senior program counselor at Uniserv, working in different countries across the world.
Amazing. So we all have dreams and aspirations, right? Again, you know, in the beginning, we talked about having such a difficult time finding out what you want to become, right? I mean, I have done 3 different things. You guys being here at Uniserv Education, I'm sure that you see this a lot where, you know, students come here and have no idea what they want to do. How do you help such students?
I think that's where really Uniserv fits in, because our job is to basically help students or mold them into knowing which career paths they would likely to take, or how they're going to plan their careers to achieve the goal that they want. So I do look out to help a student get the right fit for them at that point. I mean, right now you're saying you've done a few other things, but that doesn't mean this is the end. You probably will complete your international relations, then you're thinking, but here you are doing, you're a social media expert. So I think it's the skills that you gain at the end of the day that you can utilize in your daily life and make it into a career that matters so much for me. So in my line of work, I try to work with the student based on their interest, their skills, what they've always wanted to do, which destination of the world they've always wanted to be. Because wherever, if they ended up in Canada, they went to the UK, or for instance, in any part of Europe, and they are happy and enthusiastic with the course that they are taking, and they are liking it, putting themselves out there and even networking and doing internships and placements. That's what matters at the end of the day, because they need to be happy. Yeah.
So I think it's very important to be able to make the right decisions when you're thinking of studying. I think that's the first step. The reason is sometimes when you're thinking of going to study, it's not just about, there are people who have, for example, the funds, but what do I go to do? Number one, it's very important to be able to get people who can be able to direct you in terms of selecting the right career. And there are so many factors that, of course, we as Uniserv especially look into. Is it the finances? Is it the course that I want to take? What are my long-term plans to be able to go into that country? So there are so many factors we look at. But of course, one of the main reasons is to be able to select the right course. Because the moment you make a wrong decision, it really affects your future. So, yeah.
Right. No, I think also another thing I would ask, right, because you talked about interests. How does that play in choosing careers? Like you knowing your personality, you know, how you are, all these things. How does that play in choosing a career?
I think it plays a big role, really, because as my colleague has said, you need to know what, really, you need to plan on what to do. So knowing what you capable of doing, or like most students just come and say, oh, I want to be a doctor. But if you did, we go through the whole course content of what a doctor does, then they realize, oh, I don't think I can rather stand the amount of blood I'm gonna be in here, or you know, like they realize that this is not what I wanted to do. So at Uniserv, we even involve the parents in most cases, just for them to come and we engage them in their children interests. And we do have rather personally, we do some career counseling, and just to gauge the personality of the student, like I said, skills and their interest. Because then we put down a variety of careers that could be in the line that they're interested in. In most cases, when I do career counseling, I give the student a pen, and then they write anything that they've always wanted to go into. Then we start going into each career, just to talk about it. I tell them this is what you're actually gearing yourself up to, and in enough times we narrow it down from maybe 5 options or 10 options to up to just 2 or 3. Right. Then that kind of helps them narrow down to what they would be able to take up in university.
Amazing. So in the recent times, you know, we've seen so many young people become entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs in their own small way. It's not like how back in the day when you think about an entrepreneur, you think about a big business and all that. You know, young people, especially the Generation Z, are really coming out and becoming entrepreneurs, right? And we've seen that really pose a challenge to education, because remember that time when, you know, COVID had hit and, you know, kids were really writing in school. And most of them had said, you know, me, I already started a business when I was home, when I was back home, right? And you sort of like feel like education is sort of being valued less as times go by. It's not like back in the day, it was education and that's it, right? Do you feel like education really is being valued less?
Well, there is a factor, but to be honest, as educators, I always tell students, education, like first degree, is just to open your mind, really, to possibilities that you can, tap into. So ideally, we are a one-stop shop to help you, you know, figure out what is best for you to follow. So in terms of talking of education as in a whole spectrum of it, you need to be educated in life. You need to have skills. That it's more getting the skills from whatever course that you do undertake. Because let's say you want to be an entrepreneur, and yes, you'll have you have the skills. You are a social person. You have you can attract crowds. Yes, but that is what you start with. You'll need to be getting money. You need to plan how budget, how to market whatever you're bringing out there. So you need some sort of not only etiquette, but I would say skills and grounding to enable you longevity in terms of sustainability of whatever you're doing.
Education, I think, is very important. As she said, it's all about that foundation.
Yeah.
As long as you have a foundation to be able to learn the basic skills, is it my accounting skills? Is it my IT skills? And also a bit of law. So those are the things that are going to help you, for example, even if it's in that business that you've already opened. So having that first degree is very important. And then now at a later stage, of course, masters, I feel like it's more specialized.
Yeah.
Then at that time is when you'll decide, do I really want to go into my masters? Or do I want now to just focus on my business? But the first degree is very important.
It's very important. I think I was part of, that team, or that, those guys who were like, as long as I'm making money, then education doesn't really matter. Because to be honest, I started making money when I was very, very young. And at some point I really was like, why then do I need to go back to school, right? But now that I'm older, and that's why I went back to school, I realized it's not always about the money, right?
Exactly.
There's just a lot about, like you said, skills that you need to acquire, right, to help you be able to find longevity in whatever you're doing. When it comes to one of the things that we've seen with many young people, they want to pursue a career, but they don't really have for example, school fees to facilitate them to go through a certain course, right? They don't really have that support system. Yeah. So how does Uniserv help, young, high schoolers who are just from school but really want to pursue something but really don't know how they would be able to do that?
So basically, I think at Uniserv we pride ourselves in giving information. Yeah, so we have a lot of information out there that most people wouldn't know. Like I wouldn't know a lot of things I know now if I didn't engage myself with Uniserv. So sometimes I tell students, we get students of all, a whole spectrum. Some are not able to pay, rather to go abroad. But that's okay, because at least when you come here, we take you through the career options that we have, the financial options that are out there. There are a lot of institutions that offer financial, assistance to students who are capable. Of course, most of the time, every financial provider is looking for something, like most likely merit is a underscore. Most of the special or bright kids tend to get the financial support to go actually study abroad. Having said that, they also look for character. So we help them engage in the interviews with these sponsors in some cases. So enough times I tell students, don't fear, just come, get the information. The worst thing that can happen is that we won't get anything, but at least you'll have engaged with us. You'll have known what options are there. You'll have known if you're capable of getting, and enough times we just don't leave you, go. Even in Kenya, there are options of getting help. Yeah, so sometimes you just need someone out of your family to help direct you to the right, the right thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, it's very important to be able to get a specialist, and in this instance, of course, about education. So Uniserv is very specialized in that way. And then the fact that also we work with different countries across the world. So talk about US, Australia, Canada, UK. So at least we can do some sort of comparison to be able to help you identify now what would be more ideal for me. What am I looking for? Is it about the course? Is it my long-term plan? And then after that also in terms of comparison, in terms of the fees. Of course, other countries are much more expensive than others. So we can be able to sort of help you identify that. In addition to that, of course, as she mentioned, in terms of scholarships, there are countries that would give more scholarships than others. And also, of course, scholarships, of course, varies. It could be a merit-based scholarship. It is sports scholarship. So we can be able to sort of mold you into also, or rather helping you in terms of even acquiring a scholarship.
Right. I mean, you know, the Kenyan education system is changing a lot, right? But why do you believe that, you know, studying abroad is still very lucrative, you know, for many young students, right? Especially, I remember, Jerry, you had talked about, you know, working with different countries. Why is it that, you know, studying in the UK, studying in Australia, studying in all these different countries, why is that still such a very lucrative way to go about university?
So most of the students are looking for better systems. Not saying that in Kenya we don't have good systems, and then there is the option of long-term plans. For example, a person is looking to probably even be able to apply for permanent residence. There are countries where you go, study for a certain period of time, you're given time to work, and then after that be able to apply for permanent residence. And then maybe by the time you're coming, you've already had an international experience. And that is what most of the people are looking at.
Okay.
Well, what you asked, why study abroad as opposed to here? I mean, I think, as the saying goes, the world is a global village right now. So it's imperative to actually be able to tap from different cultures, just be independent. I mean, you've been, it's good to, if you can't go abroad, normally you need to be able to get education in Kenya. But remember, even in Kenya, our education system is pretty good. So we get people coming from other countries to study here. So it's the same, in the same kind of breath, we encourage Kenyans and East Africans to explore opportunities out there, not only education opportunities, but internships, placement. And it just kind of exposes you. And enough times I get feedback from my students who've studied there that, you know, just going out there kind of made them more independent, more, you know, like they learned new ways of doing things. Because we have opportunities in Kenya, yes, but you do not know how to use your skills or knowledge to tap into the opportunities. Like right now, I mean, most businesses are looking for maybe social media experts because it's a new, rather new, you know, like something that businesses need now, especially with the COVID thing. Things are going virtual. You need to be able to use that virtual space. But if you maybe just studied here, or if you went out there, you were exposed to a lot of different ways of doing things. So that does help you in getting grounded even when you come back. Having said that, like I said, the world is a global village. I mean, you can go somewhere else and, you know, experience the culture, live there, work there, make money. Yeah, that's, I think it's about life, really. Right. Why go study abroad? To expose yourself.
And I think with COVID-19, one would ask, right, how does studying abroad work anymore? Wow. Right? Because I can imagine before it was, okay, come here, now you'll be able to go to Kent University, here's your visa, bye, right? And then, of course, after that, you'll be able to help them with whatever else. But now with COVID-19, how is Uniserv facilitating their students to still study abroad?
So, number one, of course, with the global pandemic, everyone is resolving, or rather all the universities are resolving to online studies. And that means everyone, you know, is using a lot of Zoom and some of the internal systems for online. So, of course, Uniserv is helping students in terms of registrations, and then also, concurrently, of course, preparing for visas as you're waiting for the borders to open, and then you can be able to travel. So mostly for now, just online preparations, awaiting the borders to open.
Out of 10, how successful would you rate, Uniserv's facilitation for them to go there?
Well, the feedback, to be honest, has been really great. So my previous students have always feedbacked and said, the exposure was really good. And enough times I get more students for next intakes through, referrals.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, okay.
So a lot of my clients are referrals. Obviously, marketing does a good job to bring in some more, but ideally, the 60% would be referrals. So I think in that aspect, we are doing something right.
Right.
Yeah.
So out of 10, we'll say we're at
8 or 7.
No,
7. I mean, there's
too
always
low. I think it's 8.
Yeah.
Because if you're able to get even 3-4 referrals and even siblings,
Yeah.
and they're able to come to you and tell you that, can you help my brother to come to the same country, or rather you still get the same student who went to a different country and now they want to go to a different country. Of course, it tells you automatically how well the student is doing, and now they want to be able to progress, so you can be able to help their family. So out of 10, I would say a clean 9.
And we asked again, what would have been done better to facilitate these people to becoming who they wanted to be when they were younger, right? So let's check that out and then we'll finalize this topic.
For me, what would have been done better during my time is that I wish I had the right people to mentor me on the right courses to take, on the right choices to make career-wise.
Hata hapo ningepata mtu wa kunisaidia, wa kutupatia support, hapo nawe ningekuwa nimejiinua.
I wish I had the right guidance, because for me I even had to drop out of a course in university and change into the one I'm currently doing. So if I had better guidance, I'd have probably made the best decision early enough.
Okay, once I was through my high school training, the only support I needed is the government support through youth fund to boost my business, and rather some coaching from people who have done business in the streets for me to make my business grow up.
Ni vile hii mambo ya upungufu ya karo. Najua kwetu tulikuwa wengi, sasa mtu mmoja, kwa hiyo school fees ndiye ikakuwa shita kidogo, si kuendelea sana.
So as you've seen, most of them talked about mentorship, having support in helping them achieve some of the dreams that they wanted to achieve when they were younger, which I think is very, very important for so many young people to have that mentorship, to have the people they can come and talk to so that they can be able to be helped, right? So for Uniserv Education, as we finish, right, as their representatives, how would you extend your invitation to anyone who's watching and also needs that sort of mentorship and support?
Yeah. Uniserv, of course, is open to be able to help all the students, and as we said, we help students not just to go abroad. Of course, there are so many things that we do. Is it career guidance? Is it choice of universities and courses? So we can be able to do that. And remember, it's like we don't charge you anything. So we help you, and then thereafter, of course, once you decide on the school, that is when, of course, you pay your fees. So, and of course, you can be able to reach out to us via website or our social media sites, and we are happy to help.
I'm actually glad they reckon that you need to see a specialist to help you, because most of us didn't have this kind of thing when we were deciding on our careers. I just ended up doing some development economics. I'm now glad that I did the units I did, because you can see how it's helping you in a little bits in your life. But ideally, I would kind of welcome anyone who's skeptical and not sure what to do. even if you're sure of what to do, just come and have a second, like a second opinion of what you are thinking. Because, I mean, careers in the future are now evolving. Yeah, so we need, with the changing demographics and cultural, changes, tech savviness, you need to know, even if you wanted to study like finance, you can end up going into fintech, for instance, financial technology, because that's the future. Or you can end up, the skills and just the information you do get here. Enough times you find people who come to us and they tell me this is what I wanted to study, but then you give them the other options, they're like, oh, this actually is what, pinpoints exactly what I want to do. So I would encourage everyone who's looking to gain more knowledge or just learn more about futuristic careers to come and explore what we offer.
So thank you so much, ladies. Thank you for taking us through this. And again, for you at home, do not be stuck. There are people who are ready to help you in your career path. It can be a very stressful thing. It can be a very scary thing as you transition from high school to university, or from one career to the other, but it is possible. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, make sure to leave a comment. If you have any question, make sure to just write it on the comment section, and I'll have them at least answer them directly to you. So thank you, and see you next week.
Fearless.